So, a good Friday morning to everybody. And we're looking at the next part of Acts as Paul is standing trial, several trials, in fact. And we know it was a carriage of injustice here, in the same way there was a carriage of injustice for Jesus. But there's something that Paul said here that really stood out for me. And as he was standing before the king, he said, what is unbelievable? What of all of this is unbelievable? I stand here on trial because I believe in the resurrection. What is unbelievable that God would raise the dead? It's a good question, because the stumbling block for a lot of people when it comes to Christianity is the cross and the resurrection. And I can understand people who just deny that there's any God whatsoever, just the atheists, that there's human beings and only human beings, and we've cooked up everything by our imagination to try to explain the mysteries of life. Okay, I can understand people like that who just, there's no belief, there's no faith, there's only what we can see and what we can touch. They don't believe in any spiritual realm. But the vast majority of human beings, when pressed on the issue, will acknowledge that there is a higher power, that there is something. Regardless of what kooky idea you've come up with to explain that and what you think happens after death, there are those who, the vast majority of people say that there is a higher power, there's a creator, everything's an intelligent design, so there's a power behind it. Okay, you know what? If I was to sit in that for a moment and say, okay, yeah, there is a creator. So why would I find it unbelievable that the creator who spoke everything into being would have difficulty with bringing life back to the dead, to raising the dead? And the problem is that in most Christians, they'll hold to the cross, they'll hold to the resurrection, they'll hold to what we know to be the truth, that there will be a day of judgment coming for the world, and there will be a day of accountability for those who are followers of Jesus Christ. And we'll hold to that. But in the life here, there's limits that we put on this incredibly powerful God, a God who's so vast that our imagination can't even conceive of him, and a power that is so great that we haven't even begun to touch the plummet's depths, just scratching the surface of it. But in our lives, there will be a line somewhere where we'll reach that we won't be able to believe that of God. We want to define him. We want to keep him tame. We want to keep him within what we can understand. We don't want any mystery. We don't want anything that's unexplainable. We don't want anything that's out of the ordinary. So when somebody is healed of cancer, we'll find reasons why that happened. When somebody's raised from the dead, we'll try to find an explanation for it. We just don't want to go into the spooky zone with any of this. But Paul turns around and says, what's so unbelievable about this? This is Yahweh. This is the one who spoke everything into being. He just spoke it into being. It's just recorded again and again and again, all the miracles that are done in the authority of Jesus Christ. And so we have to look at our life, and what is it that we stumble over? What is it that we find unbelievable? What is it that we say, no, that's impossible? What is it that we just do not have the faith to walk in? And faith, again, is not a blind thing. If faith is assurance, it's where we absolutely put our trust in the one who loves us. It's well, he promised it, so yeah, I believe it. That's what faith is. Faith is not some blind thing. I believe the promises of God. I stand on the promises of God. I stand what he said and what he's declared. I have faith in him. I have faith in him, not in any system, but I have faith in him because I have this incredible intimate relationship with him. And he has touched me so many times, and my heart just is overwhelmed by him and who he is to me, that I put my faith in him. Yeah, so I have to ask myself, is there anything in my life that I just consider unbelievable when it comes to him? Am I limiting him in any way whatsoever? It just, the king stood before Paul and said, man, your education, your intelligence has just, gone wacko. It's driven you crazy. And Paul says, what's so unbelievable about this? Just what is so unbelievable? People, what is so unbelievable that our Creator would love us so much that he'd want to adopt us into his family, that everything that he created us to be, that we could be, all of his design, what he wants us to be, that we would be. What do we find unbelievable? That he actually just wants to hang out with us as our Father, that he wants to be our Father. What's so unbelievable? That he paid the ultimate price to open the door for us to come back, that we could be reconciled with him. What is so unbelievable? That he wants his delinquent creation reconciled to him. What's so unbelievable about this, really? And that he wants us to function according to our design, so it would go well for us. So it would go well for us, people. It's not some kind of tyrant. He designed these things to work a certain way, and when we live in that way, when we work in that way, then the joy and the peace are able to flow, and we're filled with hope and surrounded by love, and convinced that we are significant to him. Yeah. Okay, so I'm going to leave it there with you. You be blessed. Have an encouraging day, and let's trust Dad, shall we? God bless.